Hello, Team Superdad, friends, family around the world. How are you doing? We are in Hailsham, in a park in Hailsham. It's a beautiful evening. Day 20 of the 28-day habit challenge. It's a hard one. So I put this on the list right at the beginning of all different habits, things that things that people have been confronted with, things that I know have been a challenge, either for myself or for others, or indeed both. So, welcome. If you haven't been on any of the other videos, we are on day 20 of the 28-day habit challenge. You're on watching me on StreamYard. So, if you want to appear in the comments, then you go to streamyard.com/Facebook and you can have your name come up in the comments or just appear anonymously as but I'll see all the comments coming in. Let me know where you're at and how you're doing today. Porn. Awkward. I'm gonna get some shit off my Scouse mates for this for sure. If my phone starts beeping in a minute, I know exactly who it will be. But do you know, habits come in all shapes and sizes, and some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them one person thinks are fine, the other person has a problem with. Or in my experience of this subject, some people might have a problem with it, even if you don't. And you know, sex, porn, you know, I've purposely chosen not to put sex habits on here because it's just not something I know enough about. But porn is something I'll happily say, like probably most men, I've watched porn occasionally, and sometimes in my life, probably more than other times. But I can't say it's ever been something that's been like a problem, something that's been even that I'd class as a habit. And you've got to distinguish what a habit is. A habit is something that you can't necessarily consciously stop or start, depending on what kind of, whether you're trying to break a habit or create a habit. But it's something you can't just stop or start at will. And when it gets into addiction, then you're definitely at the level where you can't just turn it off, or you find ways, even if you are trying to give it up, you find ways to seriously go out of your way to get that thing that you're trying to give up. So, you know, I think porn in some people's relationships is quite a healthy thing. As I've said in the post, this isn't a conversation about the exploitation of people in the porn industry. That is another important subject, but not one we're dealing with here. But porn as something positive in a relationship, positive for an individual. There's cases for both sides of those things. The problem comes probably when, if you're in a relationship where it's something that one person isn't aware of and the other person quite obviously is aware of, because with that can come hiding, can come a breakdown in communication, can come guilt, loads of other things that aren't very positive inside of a relationship. And but on a positive note, if speaking for myself, like a true story or fact story, inside of my marriage, I got, and I'm going to say accused, but it wasn't like an accusation, being put on the spot. We're inside of a church and there's people standing up at the front of the church one week talking about their porn addiction. And you're sort of sitting there listening. And for most men in the audience, some women, I dare say, they're like, really? Is that bad? Because you can have porn in a religious context as a sin, as adultery, as looking at somebody else naked as opposed to the person that you've committed yourself to. And so when you're layering on a whole load of guilt over that, arousal from from the naked form is something quite carnal inside of us. Um, if if you're not in a relationship and it's something that is a relief, quite literally, but if it's something that's a relief to you, then again, how bad can that be? The likes of Porn Hub and um, um, there's other ones basically, but have literally millions of views. They're like YouTube but for porn. They have millions and millions and millions of views from all around the world. So to say that this is something that you should be feeling guilty or bad about, like something that's a problem inside of you, you have to start to gauge where it's become a problem. How much of it are you doing? What kind of an impact is it having on your health or your relationship or even your work? But we all remember from from school days, there was always the one lad that always had loads of it, loads of magazines, magazines. How bloody old am I? But loads of magazines or loads of tapes, videotapes, DVDs. But like, I was never that whole kind of, yeah, let's get some porn and watch it together. I was like, just like, thankfully, I never had a group of mates that was something for. I've been on a few stag do's where just porn was on whilst other carnage just was happening. And I was like, some people just sat there watching it for hours. I'm like, this is weird. This is slightly awkward. Having a beer, chatting, and like something's going on over there on the screen. But like I said, like any habit, it's a decision about how much of a problem it's become in your life, how much you're trying to hide it from other people, or what kind of effect it's having on other important aspects of your life. But yeah, back to the church thing, they said, like, yeah, well, if you're watching any porn, it's a sin, it's bad. It's like I was it had me, and I had to get over it. And actually, inside of my relationship, I was so lonely and so, I guess, unhappy, but also, like, there was a practical side to it, which was our relationship was in such trouble that if I went to bed wanting a hug or wanting sex or wanting to initiate through a hug to get into sex, like just normal, what you'd consider relationship marriage stuff, that climbing into bed with those kind of urges was just became a problem. And so that massive rejection on and on and on, just had it become something like a practical out, an avoidance, something to avoid the arguments. So, it's probably important that, as awkward as it is, that inside of a relationship, that inside of a healthy relationship, that you can talk about porn, that you can talk about what you need, what you're not getting, what you like about it, what you could introduce to your own relationship. I think for me, a healthy relationship, someone you're with who you flipping love and adore and are generous and trusting of, then a subject like porn and arousal and your sexual appetite, it's got to be spoken about. It's got to be spoken about. So at the level you're watching porn all the time, it's more likely a reflection on the healthiness of your relationship. If you're not in a relationship and you're watching porn all the time, then maybe you need to get out a bit more. And I mean that with all the love in the world. Maybe you need to get out and find a relationship, because if it's becoming like an avoidance, then it's a problem. And habits can be very positive, but when they're running the show, when they're having you, yeah, like if you're avoiding getting into a new relationship for whatever reason, the amount of porn you're watching could be an indication of that. On the post below are about 6 or 7 signs that you may be addicted to porn, and if you're ticking enough of those, then it's probably worth considering some sort of counseling or professional help. And I've also put some tips on there that, like any habit, like breaking any habit, you just got to break what is the norm. So delete it from your computer, delete any apps, delete any bookmarks, find an accountability buddy, someone who's like been through the bit before, given up that thing that you're trying to give up before. Team Superdad is all about creating good habits. It's all about making gains. It's all about accountability and incredible expertise, guidance, and support. So if this has made a difference to any of you, then please share it. Come over and join us at teamsuperdad.com or the Team Superdad group on Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you on day 21 of the Daily Habit Challenge. Team Superdad out. Bye.